Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kurojiri, your resident tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet-fighting robot series. Now, as we crest into week 3 of the Go Nagai collaboration with Medarot S, things may be slowing down just a little bit in terms of new content or things that have been announced, but even then, they're only slowing down just a little bit, and we still have a lot of exciting events and a lot of very powerful models to be had as we crest into this next week. This week in particular, we're going to be sticking around to the Shin Getter series just a little bit longer, but this time highlighting the other very well-known model from that franchise, also from the legendary author himself, Black Getter from the Shin Getter Robo series. But with that being said, let's go ahead and officially get started with what was announced for this week, which, like I said, wasn't a whole lot of, say, new stuff available, but still very exciting and still worth farming and collecting for all the same. Starting, of course, with the gacha banners this week, of course, the next model in the Go Nagai collaboration, as I said, is DYN03B Getter, with a mostly brand new kit of Frenzy, Block Rage, Charge Governor, biped legs, and the leg ability of Trap Buster. Now, to explain Black Getter briefly, and based on what little research I was able to do on the Shin Getter series leading up to this week's recording, these moves actually kind of make a lot of sense given the original personality and intent of Black Getter. Explaining them briefly, Frenzy will buff the success, power, heat, and cool stat of all equipped parts by 50%, but in trade, also debuff the user's legs resist stats, both shoot and melee resist, and their evade by 80%. Basically turning them into almost quite literally the definition of a glass cannon for that boost to basically every other stat that matters. So make sure you do plan to cover Black Getter if you do plan to make use of him in this way. The other new move, a Charge Governor, basically is a brand new ailment being introduced in the game that, explained briefly, upon attacking the target and inflicts them with this charge status, it actually halves the amount of charge gauge that they receive each turn upon an action is completed. Likely from, say, breaking parts, to charging metaphors, to even Metal Nature itself. So, Black Getter makes it very clear that while he's on the field, he's going to be basically as ferocious as possible, but also at the cost of being a little bit of a glass cannon in between with that. The other models we have going on this week as well with rerun banners, this model we actually have not seen for a pretty hot minute, if I'm being real with you. My record states, last time we saw him was back roughly about late 2022 or so, and that's KBT-12 Juke from Medarot 9, with Charge Buster, Power Rifle, Mega Gatling, biped legs, and the leg ability of Bullet Rain. Now, much like his counterpart Manjiro, who was the Stag Beetle starter of Medarot 9, Juke is also a very solid and well-rounded KBT type you really can't ever go wrong with using, especially if you want to make sure that you can keep some heavy artillery in the mix as you plan to do so. Lastly, with the gacha banners this week, we are also going to be wrapping up with OPS0 Ophiuchus from Medarot Navi, with a kit of Field Control, Thunder, Sword, biped legs, and the leg ability of Blowbeat. Now, for folks that have played Navi, Ophiuchus is also capable of meta-changing, much like her other Zodiac Constellation counterparts. In this new Serpentine Hydra form, as you see here, she exchanges her kit out entirely for a pure crowd-controlling based design, going for a kit of Hyper Crept, Blow Away, Suction, Multi-Legs, and the leg ability of Absand. So lots of very powerful models we have going on this week as well. But it is also worth noting officially that, of course, much like it is with any other collaboration ongoing, Black Getter this week in particular is going to be the big ticket primarily. Whereas if he's not really your thing, there's still going to be Mazin K and S Getter that will be sticking around. And of course, Mazin Z from the first wave of event reward if you have not yet farmed for it. For the Fierce battles we have this week, it's going to be a lot of Buggy Boys this week, which is going to give a very wide variety of skills. Just to explain some of these briefly and just highlighting who we'll be seeing this week, Starting on this top row up here, we have HNT-01 Queen Vespa with Heater Plant, Double Static, Float Legs, and the leg ability of Extra Magazine. Next to her, we have CCD-0 Semi Cicade with Melee Trap, Double Break, Flight Legs, and the leg ability of Nest. And then wrapping up this top row will be DRF-03 CT King with Press, Anti-Air, Press Again, Flight Legs, and Bullet Rain. On the bottom row here, we're starting with LDB-03 Ptolemy with Scope, Rifle, Gatling, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Gunman. Next to her, we have OWS-0 Papio Chevalier with Fight Boost, Discharge, Counter Guard, Float Legs, and Mascot as the leg ability. And then last but not least, everyone's favorite little Scorpion type from Medarot. It is SCP-0 Poison Scorpy with Triple Melt, Multi-Legs, and Desert type. Now, honestly, like I said, there's a lot of very powerful and very useful skills between these 6 alone. And even though I did list Queen Vespa and Poison Scorpy as the 2 MVPs of the week, and quite obviously for very natural reasons, primarily Queen Vespa for Static, which is a very solid skill, Poison Scorpy for Desert type, they all have something they can bring to the table as well. Semi Cicade for basically free break parts that are also non-heavy, CT King for Flight Leg with Bullet Rain, and also relatively quick access to anti-air. Ptolemy for your all-round shooters for female teams, Papio Chevalier for your mixed auxiliary melee supports, and so on. So still very solid moves all the same, and the general rule will follow: if you don't have any of them, farm them just for the sake that you have them in the library, but if you don't plan to do anything major this week, definitely focus on at least Poison Scorpy or Queen Vespa. Now, as it has been with previous weeks with paid skins, this week we are getting, Black Getter will be getting his own skin, this time highlighting quite likely the original colors, but primarily kind of mirroring that of Shin Getter that we had last week. Much like how it was last week with Shin Getter emulating Black Getter with the black color scheme, which a lot of you guys really did correct me on later, which I do appreciate. So again, it'll be available on the web store to purchase. Handful of rubies, as you see here, at 15 plus the skin. Not really expensive if you count current US dollar to yen currency, because the yen is very down right now. But again, spend with caution if you do plan to use these, and just a friendly reminder, buying the skin does not give you the model. So that only means it still means you have to collect Black Getter first if you want to make use of the skin at all, in the actual fights and in gameplay. With the event ongoing, it's going to be a relatively quiet week as well, much like it was last week, but with still more awards to be found all the same. With Wave 3 of the collaboration, or at least Part 2 of this one, highlighting another ticket phase, we have the opportunity to earn the Unicorn Medal, which has a mastery in melee, support, and healing, and leg masteries in biped, tank, and float. And with it being another assist-based nature, it does mean it is going to have a very solid passive in extra HP to all parts when you choose to use this medal on the field. In addition, we can also earn more of another commemorative profile banner here highlighting Shin Getter himself, and we can also earn more limited time event gacha tickets, and there will be another event mission wave, Volume 3 in particular, that will be going live as well, giving us the opportunity to earn more ruby shards and limited gacha tickets as well. Again, it's going to be relatively easy. Basically just farm the event for this coming week and you're done. It's not going to be super difficult if you want to use those tickets right away, or if you decide you just want to hold on to them for a little while longer. The event, much like last week, will also be ticket-based, but this time we're highlighting the red and the gold ticket rewards. For the red tickets in particular, as you see here, Juke and Ophiuchus at 1 will give you a +3 per part equipped across the team, so that means you can only equip 1 and get that maximum bonus. +2 bonuses will be Gal Gal Marmo, Death Flare, and Dead Quasar, much like it has been in previous weeks, since they are kind of the PvP event reward skins for this month. The Fierce Battles will also give you a +1 each per part. For the Medarotters, it'll be just a little bit different this time around. For R rank Ikki or Kazumi, you will see a +2 for that red ticket bonus, and N rank will a +1. For the gold tickets, as you see up front here at the top, a +3 of course for Black Getter across the team, +2 for S Getter, and then +1 for Mazin K or Mazin Z. And then of course for the +3 gold ticket bonus will be the S Getter cosplay skin from Ikki, and then a +1 for SR rank of Kazumi. So I think this one's going to be a little more gacha heavy than it was last week in my personal opinion, but maybe not as heavily in terms of Medarotters, since if you have already collected Shin Getter Ikki, you really can still hold on to him and bank on just a couple extra ticket bonuses. Now, one other really big thing they announced for the game as well this week is that we are at long last finally getting more story mode chapters. 3 actually this time around. No real telling how long those chapters are going to be as we continue the story of Ikki, Cross, and Arase, Cross, and Hisaki, but it is still going to be very nice to have another extra form of getting some extra rubies, especially if you find yourself running low and still want to try to keep collecting some of these collab models, such as Mazin K, or Shin Getter, or Black Getter, or even in the case of next week if you're still saving with Devil Hero. On the community front, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any projects or ongoing endeavors. Right now, we're still working on trying to finish up Medarot 3 so we can officially call it complete. Mostly just need some grammar checks and some spelling checks just to make sure everything's behaving as it should. We can work on other projects such as Medarots 4 and 5 and Navi, or even so on. So if you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning, or Japanese and have some time on your hands, we would absolutely love to have you help out with us. Ask around in our Discord, talk to us, and we can get you in touch with the right people to fill you in on what has been done and what still needs done up to this point. And same can be said if you perhaps know anybody and send them our direction. Now, with weekly art highlights here on the MNN, I honestly found a lot of pieces just in the last couple days alone that I just really had to highlight. This one here by my dear buddy Penguin Kotak decided to take some of the official mugshot art from Medarot S of the previous collab models through the years and kind of make a mock-up Super Robot Wars banner as you see. And honestly, I really truly dig this. And it's very plain to see, just in the last 4 years alone, that Medarot S has really made itself its own flavor of Super Robot Wars. Because, with the exception of course, any official Super Robot Wars game that qualifies, it's the only game that you can basically play as Unit 1, Optimus Prime, and, in this case even, Blade Liger, one of 2 different variants even, in the same team and still make it completely viable and enjoyable. Which is honestly quite amazing that Medarot has made so many wonderful friends in incredibly high places, might I add. And then, of course, this one here by Twitter user 7EDA7Hushi, highlighting a piece of Makaritas, just basically acting like a nice, cute little boy that he is, and also did other pieces on their page, highlighting him getting very happy head pats. Honestly, casual art like this just always gives me life. I love seeing the casual, everyday art of Medarot like this. It's something you really don't see every day, because they're too focused on seeing too many battle scenes or battle damaged or whatever, or making their own custom concepts, which are all fantastic ideas, sure. But seeing the casual, everyday life art like this, like everyday life if you had a pet Medarot, it gives me life. I love seeing this thing. So if you'd like to see more of that, definitely give both of these artists a follow so that you can see more of their wonderful art in your feeds. Lastly, I am also going to give you a friendly reminder that I am open for commission if you'd like to keep up to date with me or get some art done. I do 3D models, I do 2D models as well. For the 3D models, they do come basically fully rigged and ready to go. Optimized, rigged, textured, and everything else, so you can use them in MMD, SFM, VRChat, or whatever you decide to use. Everything ready to go. I can do props as well, obviously not at the $100+ price, depending on what it is. I do live 2D models as well, ready to rig. As you see here, I actually drew my own model, as well as this one here as an example of a dear friend of mine and his Bionicle OC. I don't rig, sadly, so you will still need to find a rigger for that. I do traditional art. I can do emotes as well. And if you want to know more or even ask about it, definitely feel free to reach out to me on Discord or on Twitter. Ask about it, and we can most certainly try to make something happen. And I try to keep my prices relatively low on purpose compared to most of the other really big names in the art and rig industry as well, just so that if anyone is looking for anything to kind of help start them up, they actually have a way to get it without breaking the bank doing so. With all that being said, I believe that covers basically everything for this week's episode. Like I said, relatively silent week in terms of new stuff, since most of it kind of already expected. The second half of a ticket-based event, Black Getter this week as we stay in the Shin Getter Robo series one more week, but otherwise still going to be very exciting all the same. With that being said, if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, which is now breaching, the Metabots Forever community, which is now breaching over 17,000 members and still climbing by the day, which I'm honestly I'm honestly blown away by it. I never actually thought it would ever make it that far, but yet here it is, growing by the day, by the hundreds no less. And I'm so amazed. I'm so proud of this. Do also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. That's the first place you're going to hear it before it goes anywhere else on the net. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at IsagamIKura if you have any questions or feedback or comments, or would love just to stop in and say hello, or even commission me for a piece of art to be done. Definitely feel free to reach out. We can most certainly make something happen. Additionally, if you're a streamer, content creator, VTuber, or whatever kind of content creator of any kind on any platform and would love to collaborate with me, whether that means having you here on my channel as a guest host, which I would like to start doing more and more often as I continue on in this journey, or if you'd like to have me stop in on your channel for a friendly chat or a game, I am definitely down to do so. Reach out to me in those DMs, and we can most certainly try to coordinate schedules and make something happen. Lastly, follow my wonderful friends here, Sane Cisco, Vector the Spaceman, and Ryoko Mizuno as well. If you did tune in on Sunday's stream where I played Dark Cloud 2 again, I did actually have up as a final outro announcement that I will be collaborating with them again relatively early, starting in May, on May 4th at 9:30 p.m. EST, where we will all be playing Content Warning together and trying to become famous SpookTubers or die trying while doing so. So that's going to be exciting, looking forward to it, and I really, really hope that if you guys don't tune into my side of the stream, definitely follow any one of them as well, and we can most certainly make something happen and have a really fun time all around. But with all that being said, as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do. And until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.